everyone, and welcome back to another video. Today we're going to be discussing how the paddock should look on F1 2020. But first of all, I just want to mention that a little bit of apologies for a lack of uploads. I didn't upload anything on the weekend. I am currently in the midst of editing 2 Final Fantasy episodes. Hopefully get them out between Christmas and New Year. And then hopefully we can push on with that series, get that series out, because F1 eMod is getting closer to being ready. But I'll talk more about that there's a channel update as usual on New Year's Day. Between now and then, there will be, apart from another episode of Final Fantasy F1, there will also be the F1 2019 Christmas special, which I recorded last night. It's only a small one, but it's a short one, but that's going to go. And also coming is, which I'm yet to record, probably going to record this while it renders, is the Christmas Day something. And then have a look. As I say, that's all going to be pre-recorded because I'm working Christmas Eve and I'm out Christmas Day. So between Boxing Day and New Year's, I'm not doing a lot, apart from going to see Star Wars, obviously. If you've seen Star Wars, let me know in the comments below. But yes, you guys haven't come here to talk about Star Wars. You come to talk about, listen to what I have to say about F1 2020. And we're going to start, and specifically about the paddock. Now, I say paddock, and I mean generally, because you guys have seen F1 2019, how little variety. Yes, they think that having interviews in different locations is good for the paddock, but to be honest, I prefer it just in the media pen. Scrap having anywhere else with those cutscenes, because I don't pay attention. Does anybody actually pay attention to the backdrop when Claire is answering questions? No, I'm too busy answering the questions. Maybe if she got a bit boring, then maybe once or twice, but apart from that, if there's nothing catching my eye, then I'm just not going to bother. So yes, obviously we want to see a bit more of the paddock, maybe. And this is where F1 2017 comes in, because you guys know that I banged up this for F1 2019 and they did absolutely nothing with this. With the main area, because when the RD part failed, we went down to the trailer. When it passed, then Chris would come and find you, instead of getting a irritating message from Carl saying R&D has failed in that voice as well. I mean, we all prefer Chris to Carl, right? Because Chris we see in the flesh. Carl we haven't seen them since. We see him about once or twice a year. Maybe send him a Christmas card. Don't know. That's it. Disappears. Yeah. So definitely, we want to see the Chris levels of interactivity, and then also bring back the hospitality suite, because 2017 had a great paddock. I'm not going to lie. They had an office which we went into regularly that overlooked the track. There was a cutscene that you went into the office, which was quite nice, up the stairs at the start. I know with interviews that they wanted to try and do it. They had that little thing by the entranceway, sort of like a one-off interview, and that potentially could be integrated more into the game. I'd love to see something like that, and maybe like on the Thursday. As I've said, I may or may not mention it already, but I think the Thursday at the very least should be incorporated. I know it might get a little bit painful, but making it more immersive with the race weekend, maybe you could have a setting to turn it off for those people who find it annoying, or to skip it, and not to get a message from Carl saying you need to actually do these interviews. It would be very good if you it might increase your rep if you do these interviews. Those of you who've been skipping a lot of practice in F1 2019 will know what I mean about that. So yes, I think we definitely need the hospitality suite is definitely a big must. We can't have the same scene when we sit down at the computer, because the sit down at the computer is where we start the game. That is where we see the game, and to begin with, and F1 2017 had a quite end to it. So you start down because it not only had multiple areas. So it would you'd start downstairs the week go on, then you go on upstairs as when you've finished the race, and you'd be able to see. And of course, the backdrop for upstairs would change depending on the circuit you're at. So, for example, if you're at Belgium, you'd be behind Eau Rouge. Monaco, you'd be next to the harbour, etc. You get the idea. Now, ideally, with the paddock, we all want a game that we can walk around the paddock and do what we want and interact with it that we want. The closest we've ever come to pretty much doing that is F1 2010. But then that was just having the menus. That was pretty much a career mode game. Career mode was that game, and they bolted everything else on top of that. With F1 2010, but F1 2010 wasn't actually that bad. You had the choice to go outside, and you'd have cutscenes of walking to the press, etc., etc. Even if you had to see David Cross face every time, there was still the immersive game. And actually, press conferences. I've already mentioned that in this series, in that game as well. So yes, definitely need to. We want to see more cutscenes. Formula 2 showed us so much. Not only that, Emma's office. She has an office in London that we don't see. Surely, if we're getting F1 is a global sport. Surely, at the end of the season, basically, we should go round to Emma's office in London and go and sort out the same. Actual fact, I don't expect her to leave her office in London. Why is she coming? I'm pretty sure, well, she's our agent. Why are we paying for her to travel to 21 race weekends? Yes, I know she's going to be there at performance, but she's not our PR person. She's not the PR person of the person that handles the PR, stuff like that. Maybe they need to get another person to handle the PR, because she isn't our PR person. She's just our agent. She's there to solve the contract. So she should really just send a voice message saying, here are the team goals, and that's it. And then maybe we get a PR rep who comes and tells us about our rivals. Maybe, as I say, it'd be so cool if they had a little rival screen showing you what the rivals are capable of. Maybe a little bit of clips from real life there, from F1, because they're real life drivers. I mean, obviously back then Weber aren't real life, but then they could improvise on that. Or something like that. That would be quite cool to see a couple of cutscenes of what the style of the drivers, what we know, so we know what we're up against, as opposed to just having a face with a rating. But yes, I've sort of delved away from the paddock, and I apologise for that. So yes, the big message is getting the hospitality suite back on F1 2020. It was in F1 2017. I don't see why they can't add it back. Get rid of the hub, whatever that they have now, because it's just boring. I've watched JD get out of his chair about 2 million times. I've sat next to X-Matty G, and I can't remember who else is in there as well. There are a couple of other YouTubers sitting about. I basically don't watch the background. I just watch the people, which is absolutely boring. Yes, it would be, obviously we need to integrate these YouTubers into these larger YouTubers into the game. They can be sitting in the hospitality suite, I don't know, or chilling out with your teammate, for example. That'd be quite cool to see. That's more likely where they're going to be, as opposed to sitting on the team actually working. So yes, what else? The R&D truck should come back. Personally, I'd have it so you could do all the R&D in that truck. But ultimately, if it just has to be that it was only the failures that we got to see there, maybe you can go and see with Chris. We saw, as I say, 2017 was a great game for the thing, and I thought they were built for that, and therefore 2018 with interviews, and they didn't, sadly. And F1 2019 is just complete and utter. Well, after Formula 2, where we saw a lot of the paddock, we hardly see any of the paddock after it's pretty much one episode. The other two, if you're doing the full series, then the other 210 episodes are going to be boring. So yes, I don't know, maybe the media pen definitely should be there. I've mentioned a lot of stuff of this already, so I just wanted to cover the stuff. I've probably rambled on for a little bit too long, so I'm going to leave it there. Let me know what you think in the comments below. If you've got an idea about how the paddock should look, then let me know in the comments below. I've got 2 more episodes recorded of this, probably one to come, hopefully one maybe tomorrow, or if not, they'll be coming out between Christmas and New Year, because after New Year I'm not looking at this series. I'm going to be moving on. Turn 2 podcast is something I want to bring back to the channel, since the fact it's been absent pretty much. The Turn 2 podcast is my podcast where I talk about F1 basically, for those of you who are not familiar with the series. So yes, that's going to be it. Hopefully you enjoyed. If you did, leave a like. Subscribe to the channel if you see more F1 2020 game news and ideas. Obviously I'll be covering all the game news as soon as it gets released, 3 months beforehand, which probably maybe March if they go at the same time as last year. But until the next VR next time, take care. Thank you so much for watching. Enjoy your day and goodbye.